Brady apparently is not very far from home because his offense looks horrible. And that's actually our next topic. We're going to be talking about Tom Brady and the Buccaneers and Brock Purdy. Brady's homecoming game. This is the second time he's played in San Francisco. And it was one of Tom Brady's worst losses, probably of his career.
35-7, right?
It was 35-7.
Only 7 points.
It should have been 14, not that it would have mattered, but once again, Donovan Smith, another hold call, negates a touchdown. It was a 68-yard touchdown on Mike Evans. Got called back because of the most penalized player in the league, Donovan Smith, with another penalty. But it didn't matter. The defense couldn't stop Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, who's now become Mr. Relevant, who just tore up the Bucs defense. Christian McCaffrey had a field day. He had a touchdown or two? He had a touchdown, 119 rushing yards, 1 touchdown. He also caught 2 passes for 34 yards and had another touchdown. So he had a multi-touchdown day. Brock Purdy, 16 of 21, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns. Brady, to 34 of 55. I thought he should have been out of the game by probably, the second half, I think it was 35, it might have been 35-0 going into the second half. Yeah, it was 28-0 going into the second half. I thought Brady would have been done then, but hey, subbing out Jimmy G, it didn't seem much different. So I'm going to ask you, based on this game, could the 49ers go deep into the playoffs with Brock Purdy as their quarterback one?
I don't know. Deebo Samuels got hurt in that game.
He did?
Right? And he's out for a while. If he comes back...
We're missing 3 weeks.
3 weeks. So he'll be back the last game of the season and then going into the playoffs. I think he's a key player. If Brock Purdy is going to be the playoff quarterback, then I think they better have everybody else very healthy because they can't expect much more out of him than being a game manager, right? So they've got to have the other players step up and be on the top of their game. So I think if you have those guys in there, I think it's possible they go deep because the defense is very good.
Yeah. They do have the number 1 ranked defense in the league, and you saw it. Brady was uncomfortable. Receivers were not open. Pocket was collapsing. Brady missed a horrible throw to Mike Evans. It was a back shoulder. Mike Evans was frustrated. And this is what I'm talking about here. This is what I mentioned in the prior topic. Todd Bowles does not bring, the same offensive firepower that Bruce Arians does, or I think the creativity, but maybe it's not all his fault because there was a report by Mike Silver for the San Francisco Chronicle, and we'll bring it up here. There's a quote that reads, the level of responsibility that Brady imposes upon himself has always been massive, and this year he's taxed to the max. One example, on the night before each game, Brady runs a separate meeting with the Bucs skill players during which he goes over the game plan, makes tweaks to assignments and formations, and provides a revised blueprint, one which first-year head coach Todd Bowles, offense coordinator Byron Leftwich, and the rest of the staff are left to discover in real time once the game begins. This is interesting, and I think this is... I saw this on a lot of sports media today. They're saying that this is Greg Jennings, Super Bowl winning wide receiver, said that this was a non-story. I definitely would not call it a non-story. I think this is pretty significant because I think it shows where Brady's trust is in his own coaches and maybe in his own team. Because if he thinks Brady for 20 years was grilled by Bill Belichick, not in public, in the locker room, in meetings. Chad Ochocinco always said, he has this very, very famous story. I think it was the only year he was there. One of the first meetings, Bill Belichick goes up, grills Brady in last year's film. First meeting, grills Brady in front of the entire team. But I guess it was the first meeting from last year's, I think it was the Super Bowl last year, grilling him. He was shocked. Because we're talking about Tom Brady here. Multiple Super Bowl winning quarterback, multiple MVP, multiple Super Bowl MVP winning Tom Brady. He's getting grilled in front of everybody. And Brady took it. So Brady, and with Bruce Arians, there was a little bit of a rift there. And Brady put up for it for 20 years, comes there, and it's a more relaxed setting because Belichick has his Patriot way where you believe in the system and your individuality kind of gets subdued a little bit. Brady comes to Florida, comes to Tampa. It's a nice and chill place. He's active on social media, promoting TB12, promoting the Brady brand. He's got his crypto system in there, and it's sort of relaxed. And then the coaching was a little bit more relaxed. And then Bruce Arians would come out, criticize Tom Brady. You missed that throw. That was on Tom. Oh, that interception. He didn't read the route properly. Bad play by Tom Brady. And then that 2020 season after the bye, where Brady was actually allowed to implement some of the aspects of his own offense that he knew really well, the motion, the play action. They won 8 straight, won the Super Bowl. Next year, same thing with Bruce Arians. 5,300 yards, 42 touchdowns, 43 touchdowns. Bad defense, blown coverage. They lose against the Rams in the divisional game. So Todd Bowles comes in. Todd Bowles is a much more chill personality. He's not a fired up guy.
Too laid back.
He's very laid back.
Coach.
The one aspect that I love about Todd Bowles is that he kept his defense top 3 in rushing defense every year, but this year. The defense is inconsistent. The offense is stagnant. It's horrible in the red zone. Brady has become what Tim Tebow was. Bad at 55 minutes, and the last 5 minutes was generally heroic. That's what Brady is right now. And I think it's sad. Todd Bowles is a better coordinator because I think they're missing Bruce Arians right now. This is not a shot at Todd Bowles' ability to coach. Because like I said, I love his defensive coaching. It's just the offense, and then Brady coming in, trying to keep guys up to speed with what he wants. That's not exactly the greatest thing, and it kind of puts Byron Leftwich and Todd Bowles in a weird situation.
Yeah.
If Brady's making adjustments here, adjustments there, and it's falling, and the offense is not there.
Who the Bucs have left on this schedule?
The Bucs are playing. I think they're going up to Cincinnati right now. They're home against Cincinnati, then at Cardinals, home against Panthers, at Falcons.
They should win their last 3 games. Then
they should.
They should win them.
The Bengals
they're
game,
probably going to lose the band. They're going to get blown out again.
They're going to get blown out.
That'll make them 6-8, right?
6-8.
And then they'll win 3. They'll be 9-8.
9-8, and that should be good enough to win because if they lose against,
they're still a game ahead in their division. Right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
If they lose 2 games, if they lose the first 2 games, Bengals Cardinals just by chance. Panthers and Falcons is a must win. Any one of those, you're out. You're done.
Who would you have winning the division then? The Falcons?
The Falcons would be in position to win that division.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think either.
The Falcons will probably lose their last 4 games. So, that division is terrible.
By the way this is going, it looks like
nobody in that division has a winning record.
Nobody. It's looking like it's going to be a rematch of week 1.
Yeah.
Which would be Bucs Cowboys at Bucs. And the Bucs may put up 3 points in that game.
Yeah.
Because the Cowboys defense is on a different level right now. And I don't know if this is 100% true, but I'm getting that feeling. The Bucs this late in the season don't have an identity. They're trying to find their identity. Because you see it. Their offense is so predictable. First down, they're going to run the ball. Second down, they may try to run the ball again. Third down, 100% pass play. That's their offense. There's no creativity to it. Every single first down, it seems like it's a run. You open the game, they try to get the running game going. When that ultimately fails, because it has all year, they're dead last in running. They try to say, Tom Brady, throw the ball 50 times. Win us the game. And he just can't. And you know what? That's completely fine. I'm going to bring the list up right now of all of Brady's receivers that he's thrown to. And this thing about Brady, an indictment of how Brady needs all this help. He's 45 years old. Peyton Manning got benched for Brock Osweiler in his Super Bowl. He threw 9 touchdowns, 17 interceptions in his last year. And you know what? It's not an indictment. He went out and won the Super Bowl thanks to an unreal defense, an unreal performance from Von Miller. Let's see. And I just want to make this clear. The Patriots did not have great receivers every single year. It's just the fact that Brady was so good at making them look amazing that they seem really good.
Yeah.
Randy Moss and Gronk were the two greatest Patriots receivers in the history of the Patriots, probably. At least very much up there. Brady has not had a Randy Moss level receiver since 2010, when Randy Moss was there for the first couple weeks and then got traded to some team. I can't remember off the top of my head. He went back to the Vikings?
Yeah.
So, and then he ended up San Francisco, lost the Super Bowl against the Ravens. That was his final year.
He wasn't much of a factor on the 49ers. They didn't throw to him much.
Yeah. Daniel Graham is up there as a top 10 receiver for touchdowns. Daniel Graham, who? Benjamin Watson, we know Ben Watson. David Patton, not really well-known name. Troy Brown, Patriots fans only know him. David Gibbons, Christian Faria. Chris Hogan was a deep ball guy. Danny Amendola only caught 10. Kevin Falk, a running back. Mike Vrabel caught more touchdowns than Brandon Cooks, Brandon LaFell, and Philip Dorsett.
How about Julian Edelman?
Julian Edelman is third on this list with 36. Shane Vereen, not well known. Martellus Bennett and son. Jabbar Gaffney, not a well known name.
But they threw a lot to the backs. James White.
No, James White is fifth on this list, tied with Deion Branch. These are
Deion Branch was a good receiver.
I like Deion Branch a lot. Any of these names outside of New England that you hear, Retchie Caldwell, Scott Chandler, Aaron Dobson, Bethel Johnson, Brandon Lloyd in some teams. Malcolm Mitchell played there 1 year. Dante Stallworth, Kembrell Tompkins has that one famous play. One famous play against the Saints. It was the game-winning touchdown against the Saints, 2013. I forgot what week it was. He had that beautiful high point ball, beautiful throw by Brady. Doug Gabriel, Chad Jackson, Antoine Smith, Jermaine Wiggins, N'Keal Harry. He was just bad for the Patriots. Kyle Brady, Chris Breaker. These guys are not great guys. These are multiple touchdown catching guys.
Aaron Hernandez.
Well, those guys are up there. I'm talking about guys who aren't like in the NFL. Like some of I understand. Aaron Hernandez was there for 4 years before he got like excommunicated for the NFL, which is respectable because of what he did. It was a tragedy. But outside, do you think Julian Edelman would have been a great receiver on any other team?
Maybe not.
I don't look at Danny Amendola. Very clutch in the playoffs.
He was good on other teams. He was good.
He was an average 500-yard receiver.
Yeah, well,
he never hit 1,000 yards in his career. Never. Aaron Hernandez was a great tight end, but he was more of a halfback tight end blend, which I actually love. Daniel Graham, 17 touchdowns. Don't know who the hell he is.
Ben Watson.
Ben Watson was a great tight end for the Patriots. He wouldn't be good on other teams. I don't think he was very good on other teams. Brady did not have all these amazing receivers constantly.
Well, I think he's playing again next year. I don't think he wants to go out this way.
Retiring.
He's not going to retire, and guess who he's going to be playing for?
You're going to say the 49ers. No, really? I thought you were going to say the Patriots.
Well, I'm hoping he goes back to the Patriots, and I think that the Kraft will make a play for him.
But why would he be interested in going back?
Well, he might not be, but I think they'll make a play for him. They'll try to get him to come back.
It will not be publicized. It would be.
Oh, well, maybe not. I do think they'll try to get him, but I think Kraft will talk to him.
It would be Kraft sending a text or calling him saying, I want you back here. Would you come back? Brady would be like, yeah, your receivers are who? I could have Mike Evans. I could have Chris Godwin. I could have Julio Jones. Or I could have Devontae Adams. Or I could have Deebo Samuel, George Kittle. And you have two decently good tight ends. And who? That would be Brady's response. And who? So, but Brock Purdy and the 49ers, let's get into the 49ers part of this. That defense is good enough to carry them over, let's say defense wins
championships.
They are currently in the 3 seed, so they would play the Commanders. The Commanders are currently in the playoffs, above the Giants. They are the 6th. Commanders are the 6th seed. So it would be
the Giants are the 7th seed?
Yeah. So Vikings, Giants, 49ers, Commanders, Bucks, Cowboys. The 49ers defense could very much overpower Taylor Heineke. And I think they'd be good enough to win that game. Then it's the question of, can the 49ers win another playoff game? And I think if Brock Purdy, because the crazy part about it, and I think this actually might be an indictment of Jimmy G, is this offense looked the same, if not better, with Brock Purdy than it did with Jimmy G. Usually when you go from a starting quarterback to a backup, plays change. You take plays out. You might implement certain different plays, like what the Patriots did, even for Mac Jones. Bailey Zappe's offense looked a lot like Mac Jones' rookie season offense than Mac Jones' current offense. And it worked. Mac Jones is not running that offense right now. The 49ers are running basically the same offense as Jimmy G. So I think that's more of an indictment on Jimmy G and how good he could actually truly be. Because Brock Purdy is a little bit more athletic. They are relatively the same. And Kyle Shanahan's offense is not based on how well you throw or like how deep you can throw the ball. It's can you get it to the guy who's open when you need to?
Yeah.
And most part, Jimmy G has done that. Brock Purdy comes in and did that maybe a little bit better. So
where did Brock Purdy play his college football?
I'll bring that up right now. Brock Purdy. I don't have it in front of me right now. He played Iowa State.
Iowa State.
Yeah.
So that's no big top football.
He
program.
played all 4 years. His best season was 3,982 yards, 27 touchdowns, 9 picks. That was his sophomore year. He only had one other season where he had over 3,000 yards. Didn't have another season with 20 touchdowns, though. He was drafted dead last, so do you think 49ers defense could win a playoff game, or if not 2, with Brock Purdy
I do.
as their QB1?
I think so, yeah.
This is going to be very interesting to see how that
you know, Jimmy G, to an extent, they didn't count on him to throw the big Hail Marys all the time. They didn't. They usually a short passing game and a lot of running. So Brock Purdy can do that for sure.
Yeah.
I think the thing is, if they get behind in a game in the playoffs, and that could be a problem because then they'd be relying on him to throw some deeper passes and do some more stuff which he may not be capable of. We don't know.
Do you think that defense can allow that? I think
they can't. They have to keep the other team. They have to lead in the games. They can't get behind. If they get behind, that's going to be a problem.
Well, do you think any playoff team right now? Let's just go through it. Any playoff team. Let's say I know the bracket doesn't line up, but let's just go through the playoff teams. Any one of these teams, do you think can do that? Can the Eagles, you think, can run up the score against that defense?
No, I don't think so.
So that could be maybe a potential game. Vikings, do you think they could run up the score?
Nope.
Bucks, definitely. You just saw it. They got steamrolled. Cowboys.
Maybe.
Commanders and Giants.
No.
So really, the Cowboys is the only team that you're saying has a shot at making this a potential upset, I would say. Which that's interesting. That is very, very interesting.
I think the 49ers have a very good chance of going to the Super Bowl this year. It's not as good as it was before Jimmy G got hurt, but Jimmy G could wind up coming back. Right,
but if Brock Purdy plays good enough, well enough,
they have the number one defense in the league.
But I'm saying if Brock Purdy plays well enough,
they won't put Jimmy G back in.
That's what I'm saying, and I think that's true.
They'll have him on the sideline, and if Brock Purdy stumbles in the playoffs, then they'll put Jimmy G in. So we'll see.
Maybe. I'm not too sure.